This program is brought to you in part by ITNE, Life in Motion.
Guam's best football players of all time.
Hafa sports fans, thanks for joining us for this 1 hour special, the top 10 football grades of all time. For 4 decades, the sport of football has ruled the island, starting as a very intriguing concept that required padding and a helmet, to what it means today with Super Bowl Monday being an unofficial holiday on Guam. And though no one from our island has yet to make it to the NFL, we've produced some amazing talent at our local level who showcase their football skills for all to see. 40 years of football players to choose from, and only 10 prestigious athletes make the cut. Every list is subject for debate, but it's tough to argue when the voters have over 300 years of local football experience combined. So without further ado, let's start the countdown.
Number 10, Keven Okiyama.
Prototype cornerback.
He's not big, he's not fast, he's not strong.
You look at Kevin, you say, hey, that guy can cover. That guy can cover.
He's not the fastest cornerback I've ever coached.
I had a few linemen that could outrun me in the 40.
He doesn't have the speed, he doesn't have the muscular body.
When you first see him, you don't think of anything flashy or that he's, got any game.
He's not fast, but the fastest players in the world couldn't outrun Keven.
He was as fast as offensive lineman, but no one could beat him. No quarterback could throw a pass on him.
People underestimate him, but he was always the cover corner. He would shut down just about the best any team had to offer, as far as the receivers.
Keven had perception.
When we have somebody that's hard to cover, he says, I'll take him.
He knows their routes, he knows their patterns, and he knows his angles.
Well, I just won't let them catch the ball in the whole game. That would shut people up real quick.
He plays disciplined defense at the defensive back position.
He knew where he had to be.
But the guy had the best brains and the best footworks that I've ever seen.
And I got that from Coach Bruce. Somebody used my head a lot because I know I wasn't the fastest guy.
When the ball was thrown, Keven knew where to be, and he would meet the receiver there. He had just an uncanny timing to find that football.
I think he was more of a brain than he was an athlete because he was a very smart person.
I could tell if it's a run, pass, the first half second of the play, I already know what it's going to be.
You put anybody against Keven, Keven will shut them down.
For a guy who wasn't that fast, he wasn't by any means like super athletic. But he was just smart and knew how to play his position at cornerback.
Even though I was all-star, made all-star a lot, I was one of the few guys that practiced after practice.
He had football speed, so he would be able to keep up with the players as much as he needed to. And when he knew when he anticipated the pass, he would be there.
Very difficult to coach against his mistakes because he didn't make mistakes.
But he always just seemed to be there, and it was just a great technique. Having a coach like Coach Cruz, I think is probably one of the biggest things is Lauren Cruz was a cornerback.
I like to say he reminds me of me, but he's a better player than I was. So, like I said, he has to be in this list, and he's the best cornerback I've ever seen.
I'm not fast at all.
Number 9, Tony Posadas.
He played with the Rams. He was always a good player. He was a quarterback back then.
Tony had one of the strongest arms I've ever seen.
Strong arm, very strong arm. His biggest asset is his arm.
He had a gun for an arm, that's for sure.
I just loved to pass.
He'd be like a John Elway because he could throw so hard and hit the long ball anytime he wanted to.
It seemed like his arm didn't move and the ball just flew with the flick of his wrist.
Tony would just have a little flick like this, and that ball would be 3 feet above the ground for the next 25, 30 yards.
He had a quick release. One of those short, could hit you and if there was a little opening, he'll get it to you.
Worked on just really throwing that ball as hard as I could. I just wish we had the opportunity to play in the same team together.
All Tony will say is, just get down there, I'll get it to you.
He can fling that ball hard and far.
He just told his wide receivers run and go get the ball.
His mental game was stronger than a lot of other people.
He'll run a sweep, and notice that corners are cheating, and then do a pump and go the next play.
And I thought, wow, what an opportunity to have him as a quarterback, the great arm that he had, and the distance he can throw it. What we could have done as a group of the receivers that we had, and the running backs, and him, I don't see how they could have covered everybody.
Tony had this competitiveness, always wanted to win, and he was always a great teammate for the other guys.
He get in your face, but for the right reason.
Very humble player, very good man. I respect him 100%.
I played for him for 4 years in high school, and he's a great motivator and very intelligent. When it comes to football and life.
He was a good leader. He knew how to motivate. He was a coach. He could motivate the other players to play, lift up their game, play a little better.
So he's a good player and a good coach, and a very nice person.
This program is brought to you in part by ITNE, Life in Motion. This program is brought to you in part by ITNE, Life in Motion.
Guam's best football players of all time. Number 8, Brant McCreadie.
Very accurate.
He can throw the bomb. He can throw really far, that guy.
He had the strongest arm I've ever seen.
Hard to stop.
He's like a world-class athlete.
He's always somebody who can change the game.
Brant has a strong desire to win. I think stronger than a lot of other people. Doesn't like to lose.
My competitiveness is fierce, and sometimes it works against me with my teammates, and definitely against my opponent. Quarterback I love to hate.
One of the most competitive players I know.
He really took it personal when somebody picked off the ball.
He wants to carry the burden on his shoulders.
I'm so competitive that sometimes I don't listen. Just the fact that he walked on the field made me a little bit more motivated to play ball.
He likes to take charge of games.
When he got picked off, I saw like fire in his eyes just to make the tackle or get that person who intercepted the ball.
Every now and then, when somebody gives him a cheap shot, he turns around and he'll give it back to you a little.
Very hard to sack him, he'll tell you that.
He's not afraid to run, not afraid to hit. The guy can go out there and lay a lick on somebody who intercepted his pass that he wants to tear his head off, just like they want to tear his head off.
When you came up tackling, you better make sure you tackle him. He'll run you over.
He seems to be able to scramble, buy himself some time, and launch the ball 60 yards down the field, with great accuracy.
The main thing I like about him is, he just got that nice wrist throw.
You can tell that he's run to a higher level of football, and it shows when he plays out there. He's a winner. He's very competitive, and he's a tough guy to try to beat.
All you can do with Brant is kind of sit back and watch the receivers and just punish the receivers because he's going to make the completion.
He's all about winning championships. That's what Brant is. Brant is all about winning championships.
Number 7, John Borden.
His hands were unbelievable.
John Borden is an acrobat.
Oh, that was our Steve Largent of Guam.
Probably the best receiver I've ever seen.
I remember that guy. He's always in the newspaper. He's got all kinds of stats going on, touchdown.
Definitely the best receiver this island ever produced.
The last time I played was November 1978.
He was a teacher at GW. He would come up to me and say, you got to, how did you guys do this week? How did you guys do it? I was just like, this is a legend, John Borden.
Any receiver compared to him was easy to cover.
If I do go to UOG, I want to be like him.
John Borden had the sweetest hands.
If your back was ever against the wall and you ever wanted somebody to bail you out, it would have been a John boy.
He was an awesome player. He was my idol.
We had a potent running game, So I knew when the ball had to come my way, I wanted to take every opportunity that I had.
He'll be running one way, and the pass is behind. He'll stop and jump back left and catch it with his left hand, one hand, and pull it in.
It wasn't just right there. It would be out here, down below.
John makes catches that you can't believe.
When the ball came my way, I did everything I could to catch the ball.
He would lay out for some of the most ridiculous catches.
Unbelievable catches out there, one hand behind the back.
A lot of that was just reaction.
And he was not afraid to do a slant across the middle.
Sometimes it would just be throw out a hand out just to tip it back towards me.
Anybody that would sacrifice their body the way he did meant that he was trying to do whatever it took to put the team in a position to win.
When I played the other teams, it was easier playing the other receivers than having to play John in practice.
A very team-oriented player.
You would come back 5 or 6 games later just to watch John Borden.
He's definitely the best, in my eyes, the best receiver Guam has ever seen.
Number 6, Rodney Camacho.
He's our first local prototype tight end.
It was big, good size for a quarterback to throw to.
A freak of nature.
Big, strong, good hands.
The bottom line is make sure I grab that ball and make sure it's in my hand, and from then on, if I can gain another 5-10 yards, fine. Rodney will not back down to anybody.
I don't remember him ever dropping a ball.
If you took one look at him, you didn't think he had speed because he was so bulky and muscular at the time. And
Rodney was sure hands. It's hard to beat a big, smart, quick guy.
Rodney became the Rodney that everybody knows because of the late House Shiroma.
Rodney really excelled at UOG.
I thank House Shiroma for giving me the opportunity to be a tight end again. I didn't think I was going to be a tight end when I went out with UOG team.
House Shiroma's offense, the tight end was a very, very critical position.
The best tight end I can remember.
He was a beast going down the middle.
Howe's passing was never 30, 40 yards downfield.
You're mainly just a short pass, 5-10 yards. Stan Blau threw the ball, and Rodney just caught on stride. Rodney caught the ball over here. He was looking this way. He caught the ball over here, and he brought it in.
just a pleasure to watch when I was watching him play, and I had the pleasure of throwing to him.
Always a clutch man when it comes to getting the first down. So
I tried to get him to play with us. I know, I knew it wouldn't work, but
when I played against him, he was an offensive tackle. He was actually one of the biggest guys on the line.
But I remember he hit me on one play. I don't know if it was a sweep or something, and I think it was my first year in the MFL. He hit me so hard, and it was like, welcome to the MFL.
I always looked up to Rodney because not only in physical stature, because he's a lot taller than I am, but this guy's just got so much heart, and he just takes pride in knocking you back 5 to 10 yards back.
Big Rod was just there. He'd take on a tackle, he'd take on the defensive ends. He loved big defensive ends, his size.
He can move, and that's a dangerous part because he's so big and he's so strong. So when he's coming at me, man, he's like, I have to do an ole, I have to step out, or I have to get away from him because Rod will take you out.
His ability to block because of the schemes that Harold Shiroma put in for the blocking made him a complete package.
Had that background, had good discipline, had good blocking techniques.
Very hard to penetrate. Protects his quarterback, the way you should.
To imagine how he was as a tight end had to be pretty impressive, because if he could block like that and he could catch the way everyone talks about it, it would have been great to play during his time when he was in his prime.
By far, he should be recognized as the best tight end that ever played in the middle football.
He's Rodney Camacho, that's why he's being mentioned right now.